Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between myself and Syrion, or Syrion, I'll call him Syrion, here on Metalopolis. We have Syrion spawning over here on the bottom, or central location, at the 6 o'clock position as the blue Zerg player. Meanwhile, I am going to be playing as a Protoss player today, so I am random Protoss, so I do not want to do any early scouting as I am playing random. I don't want to reveal that race, I don't want to reveal too much. Now, the contest is going pretty well. The contest is going pretty well. The contest will be over next Tuesday. I think next Tuesday is the 9th, I believe. 9th or the 10th. And I will go ahead and I will post up the results and the winners then. And I'll wait for the winner to go ahead and confirm that, or write back to me saying that they do in fact want the CD key or the beta key. A lot of the people who wrote in said that, hey, you know what, thanks for the videos, I don't need to be entered into the raffle, but thanks again. So, you know, shout outs and props to you guys for that. I know your guys' hard-earned money is, you know, you guys get to spend it and choose how to use it any way you want, and I appreciate the donations. Right now I am getting that gateway down in this position. I'm still playing around with Protoss a little bit, not quite sure how to use Protoss against Zerg. When I was playing this game, I was shoutcasting, I was live streaming the game, and everyone had asked me if I could in fact go DTs and try a DT rush. So I was like, okay, you know what, that seems like a very viable option or a viable strategy. Zerg players in general don't morph in that Overseer, and there's not really many detecting units for a Zerg player. So I think there's that Spore Crawler, I believe, is a detecting unit, and I don't believe the Spine Crawler is a detecting unit. Taking a look at over here, Syrion, still waiting for the spawning pool to complete in order to get that hatchery. Taking a look at the units right now, the unit count, it is 16 compared to 15. So 16 probes compared to 16 drones. Because of that chrono boost, I am able to catch up a little bit. Now sending out the single probe. Probe is going to find and see that overlord overhead, or at least see the shadow of that overlord. So my opponent does in fact know that I am a Protoss player. So Protoss for me, and just trying to figure out what the strategies are. Pretty much, I want to go into for a DT rush, I want to go single gateway into the Cybernetics Core, into the Twilight Council, and then finally into the Dark Shrine. Also, because I am fighting against a Zerg player, I do realize I need to get I need to get observers. Observers are very, very important. So I am going to be getting a robotics core, and since I'm getting a robotics core, I might as well also get a warp prism. The warp prism allows me to deploy my any units anywhere where there is pylon power. So that is going to be a very, very strong ability indeed, and I'll hopefully be able to show you how I'm able to use that later. Probe now heading back up that ramp, going to push away that single zealot. Zealot now trying to once again hold that ramp at that position. Taking a look at the units right now, I have 2 zealots against a single queen, three overlords, and 20 drones. So economy-wise, we seem to be pretty evenly matched. I have 20 drones, and he has 20 drones as well. He just finished using that inject larva ability, so going to try to build as many roaches as he possibly can. No, sorry, zerglings as he possibly can, and so probably some drones as well. So taking a look at that. Yeah, producing some roaches and getting an overlord, and now upgrading the layer. So layer upgrade for Syrion. And Zerg players generally have 2 options after they go for roaches. They either go for Mutalisk or they go for Hydralisk. Hydralisk costs 150 while roaches cost 75.25. So the roaches are pretty much equivalent to the basic Hydralisk from the original StarCraft. 1 food, very high damage, but their range is not as good and they cannot attack air. I am now also getting that warp gate upgrade from that cybernetics core, so I want to be able to warp in those units just in case he does come in and attack me. He's also doing a very, very fast expansion over here to try to hide the fact, or try to expand instead of at his natural. I wasn't quite ready for this. Perhaps I should have did a little bit more scouting, but I was not ready for a hatchery over here at the starting location at the 9 o'clock position. really feel like I should have more to say, but I don't. Anyways, roaches gonna be getting that tunnel evolving and enabling them to move while burrow, and also going to evolve burrow as well. So those roaches are going to be able to regenerate those hit points while they're underground very quickly. That's one of the reasons why the robotics facility is so important in that Terran versus Zerg matchup. Twilight Council now down. I originally wanted to build my Dark Shrine over here, but I accidentally canceled that pylon and I had to rebuild it. So I'm starting to build the Dark Shrine in this position instead. Currently operating off of 3 warp gates, and also getting that forge upgrade in order to the weapons upgrade for the forge. So the zealots will in fact be able to deal more or a significant amount of damage towards those roaches. Robotics facility finally in play. Gonna go ahead and chrono boost that robotics facility in just a second. We have an overseer cocoon standing outside this base as well, so a little bit surprised that he overseers a unit over there as opposed to overseer in his base, where perhaps there could be some Dark Templars. I am in fact gonna go ahead and warp in some Dark Templars. So 3 Dark Templars now moving out, and then gonna go ahead and move my zealots and that single stalker back in position. Taking a look at the timer on the cooldown on those Dark Templars, 23, 22, 21, 20 remaining. So still takes a significant amount of time. And ooh, a changeling. I did not notice this. So there is a changeling sitting there and also just trying to sit by that ramp. That changeling, even though it says it has 50 shields and 100 hit points, it in fact has very little. In comes my Dark Templars. Dark Templars just moving straight in, and now gonna go ahead and try to take down these drones as quickly as those drones quickly as possible. Down to 12, 10 harvesters, down to 9, down to 8, and now I'm gonna go ahead and try to take down this layer. Try to take down this layer as quickly as I can. Overseer cocoon currently up in the air in that position. Queen currently burrowed, and now if there's only a couple Zerglings, if I realized that was only some Zerglings, and now also some roaches being morphed in, but layer down to 838 damage, and I forced him to make roaches off of those, so his production wise, 6 roaches, very low on drones, and he's going to take more time in order to try to inject more larvae into that position. I have a couple Dark Templars sitting overhead as well, and those roaches now gathering outside my base, and they can move while burrowed. That's going to be a significant problem. Still, I have a single warp prism now, so I'm able to deploy units anywhere I want in the field where that warp prism does try to establish pylon power. But in fact, that warp and that observer is still trying to get warped in. There is a single changeling still sitting there, and another changeling sitting in my base. So very nice use of changeling by Syrion. Syrion doing a good job with that warp prism. Now moving out, currently holding a couple zealots inside over there. He does in fact see the Dark Shrine into that position, and now in comes those roaches. Observer quickly spots those roaches, and I realize I need to move back as quickly as I can, moving those probes off of that line, and in comes those roaches, and here comes this fight. This fight definitely not looking good for me, trying to warp in units, but those units as they're warped in can get revealed. Now I am trying to take down these roaches with those Dark Templars. Dark Templars taking down those units. Overseer not revealing any of this, so the Overseer is still taking down, and I lose my Nexus, so things are looking bad. But once again, I try to do a base swap, and I have a couple of Zealots and I have a couple of Dark Templars in his base, and I'm able to take down his layer. But as soon as I see that it says he is not going to be revealed, I realize that he has another hatchery somewhere around the map. I want to take out his tech though, make sure that he's unable to produce any additional roaches, but still Dark Templars and Overseer is still up in the air, able to take down a lot of these units, and there's a group of just 6 roaches damaging my base. Currently still on cooldown for these warp gates. I don't want to warp anything in yet. Those roaches now trying to take down some of those probes. Probes are just hiding over here in this position, and a single changeling in that position as well. He's going to go ahead and use that roaches, take down this pylon, and drop all the power to these warp gates. So with those units all pretty much blocked out, I am in a lot of trouble. Now moving out with some units, and I see that there is in fact a hatchery here, and I think, okay, I'm going to go ahead and try to switch to pylon power, and then try to use that warp gate ability. But this is when I realized that he did in fact take down that probe, or take down that pylon, so that is very devastating to me. I am now, I see a couple of drones coming back in. I'm able to catch some of those drones, some of those loads, Down they go. Drones once again trying to run back away. Taking a look at the unit counts or the army counts right now. And I have 34 to his 21, but he still has a hatchery. I am not mining anywhere. Probe's still just sputtering around trying to figure out where to go. Stay tuned for part 2 and the conclusion of this replay between myself and Syrion here on Metalopolis.